the Texans' offensive identity?
That would be Sarge.
Hey, what's going on, y'all? You're tuning into the Texas Happy Hour. It's 5 o'clock somewhere. I have to get that off my chest. I'm your host, Big Sarge. Make sure you follow me on the app formerly known as Twitter. Follow me on the TikTok and the Talk. What's up, TikTok family? At Big Sarge Media. Make sure you are subscribed to the Texas Tailgate Talk podcast and YouTube channel. All one word, Texas Tailgate Talk. What's going on, Miss Jordan? Make sure you follow me on Instagram at Big Sarge Sports with the Z at the end. Because you know we do everything for the gram. My mic sounds funny. Does it really sound funny? Why does it sound funny? Am I not coming in the right way? Give me a second. Let me check the audio. Check. It says it's coming in loud and clear. It says I got the mic going the right way, so let me see if I got everything going on. That might help me out a little bit. What's going on, y'all? How y'all been? Hey, let me tell y'all something. The audio is fuzzy. Why is it fuzzy? Give me a second. All right, hold on one second.
What about now? All right, before I even get this thing started, y'all tell me, how does it sound now? Does it still sound fuzzy? Give me a second, TikTok family. It's better? Like better as in you could hear me clearer, or better as in like it's not as fuzzy anymore? Okay, so I sound good now. Is it coming through? Because I'm telling you right now, I got an expensive mic. And if this thing ain't working in, we're going to have us a little talk with the people who made it. All right, so, they say it sounds better. What's up, Queena? I got your message. I'm going to respond. But right now, let me tell you all something before I get started. I am operating off of little to no sleep. As you all know, I was in Seattle for the Texans versus the Seahawks. We left on Saturday, right? Because we wanted to get there, my wife and I, and we got a chance to do some things. Got there on Saturday. We did some tourist type things or whatever the case may be. Excuse me. I told you I was sleepy. I went to Oregon on Sunday. Was it Sunday? Yeah. Sunday we went to Portland, Oregon and Beaverton, Oregon. When I come back tomorrow, I'll give you all a better story on about what happened to my wife and I when we went to Nike, to the Nike headquarters in Beaverton, Oregon. I was in Seattle as well. It's pretty cool. It really was. We went to Beaverton. I'll tell you all about that at another time. We got a chance to go on the Great Wheel. So we got a chance to do a couple of things. But I got there on Saturday. You all remember the game was at 7 on Monday night. And then so covered the game, went back to the hotel, got up the next morning. Well, I barely even slept. Caught a 5 a.m. flight into Oklahoma City because the Houston Rockets took on the Houston Rockets took on the Oklahoma City Thunder to open up the season. And we all know that game went into double overtime. And then I got back this morning long enough to come home, take a shower, get myself together. And then I was back at NRG Stadium today for the press conferences for D'Amico Ryans and for CJ Stroud. And we had an open locker room. Got a chance to talk to Will Anderson Jr. today and some other people. And so I've had a pretty busy day. I really haven't had any sleep in the last 3 days, and I'm pushing through. But I know that I haven't given you all a show, especially since I've been doing all that traveling. I didn't get to do post-game shows in Seattle or post-game shows in Oklahoma City because of our travel schedule. And I had my wife with me, and so I didn't want to, have to keep making her wait. Queena says life is about to get real busy for me. I just so happen to be away on a business and just made it back to the room. Yes, I like I said, I'm going to respond, and you be safe out there. And you always got a spot over here. Always got a spot. And so, like I said, right, life has been hectic here lately. I love it. I can't complain. It is the job that I have. It is the job that I chose. It is the job that I love. They say find a job. What's up, Reverend Brooks? They say find a job that you love and you'll never go to work, right? Find a job that you love and you will never, ever go to work. And I found this job and I love this job. And shoot, tomorrow I'll be right back on the grind. Got the Texans, the Rockets have practice, but I won't be able to make it because on Thursday we get an opportunity to talk to Texans offensive coordinator Texas offensive coordinator Nick Caley, defensive coordinator Matt Burke, and we'll also get an opportunity to talk to special teams coordinator Frank Ross. Will be inside of the I guess Caley hates his damn job. We'll get an opportunity to talk with a couple more players inside of the locker room. Showtime 409. I will definitely answer that a little bit later on, but just remind me to answer that before the show is over. And then Friday, Texans again. The Rockets have their home opener against the Detroit Pistons here. I get to see my boy Cody M. Davis. Super, super duper proud of him. Saturday's Prairie View's homecoming. Saturday is Prairie View's homecoming. I ain't gonna say no more. Then Sunday I'll be back. Sunday I will be back at NRG Stadium for the Houston Texans versus the San Francisco 49ers. Monday, the Houston Texans the Houston Rockets will take on the Brooklyn Nets. Yes, Queena, I am going to homecoming. Set your homecoming now. Set it out. I don't want to do too much screaming. It's kind of late. I'm going to get loud, though, so I'm telling you all that up front. But I digress. And so that's where I have been away, making sure that's why I've been making sure I put out as much content as I can. On Thursday, we'll talk a little bit more about the Houston Rockets and their game against Oklahoma City Thunder. Some of my observations, some of the things that I think that the Rockets need to address early on in the season if they want to be successful later on. They got to get some things established early, and I know that it's only one game. It's only one game, and they have a really good team. They have a really good nucleus, but there's some things that have to be cleaned up. And if they're not cleaned up early, then guess what we're doing? We're right here in the same position as the Houston Texans are right now. And so let's go ahead and get this thing started. So I want to say, let me look at my phone again because I just retweeted this. I want to say about a day ago, right? About a day ago, I asked the question. I made the following statement. The Texans don't have an offensive identity, and the back and forth of the Patriot system and then the Ram system is causing inefficiencies. They need to establish who they are going to be and stick to it. And once again, I'll say, I said this a day ago. The Texans don't have any doesn't have an offensive identity, and the back and forth of the Patriot system and then the Rams system is causing inefficiencies. They need to establish who they are going to be and stick to it. And so I put that out there. And on Wednesday, D'Amico Ryans was asked about it, and I'm not gonna play the full audio of, the full clip of him, the full interview. Let me say it like that. I'm not gonna play the full interview from Wednesday. I'm just gonna play a portion of it. But before I get into that portion, let's just have us a conversation, y'all. Let's just have a conversation. One of the reasons why I love the supporters of the Texans Tailgate Talk show, the Texans Happy Hour, the supporters of Big Sarge, is because I'll say something and they won't forget. And then when it comes back around, they're quick to tell other people, hey, Sarge said that. Sarge said that a long time ago. No. During training camp, Sarge said that. Sarge said this. Sarge said that long time ago. Some of y'all said that he was crazy. Some of y'all said he was stupid. Some of y'all said he didn't know what he was talking about. But Sarge said that a long time ago. Now, when everybody was fawning over the Nick Caley hiring, one of the things that I kept harping on and I kept saying was, you don't know what he's going to be or who he's going to be because he's never called an offensive play in the NFL. He has never called an offensive play in the NFL. So how do you know what he's going to be? Stop telling me how great he's going to be because of who he's been around. I'm around professional athletes all the time. That don't mean that I can, play like they play, do what they do. I'm around multimillionaires all the time. I have conversation with at least one billionaire I know at least once or twice a month. And so that doesn't make me a billionaire, though. That doesn't make me rich. That doesn't make me wealthy because of the people that I hang around. And I kept saying on this show, not telling people, I just kept saying on this show, we don't know what he's going to be because we haven't seen it. And I said, pump your brakes, slow down, because this is the same thing that you all did when D'Amico Ryans hired Bobby Slowick, and when they both came from the 49ers organization to the Houston Texans, and you said he's going to look like Kyle Shanahan, and his offense is going to look exactly how the 49ers looked, and we've seen the success that the 49ers has had. And I say, hey, just calm down and give it a chance. And we all know the magical season that first year for D'Amico Ryans, for Bobby Slowick, for CJ Stroud, and for Tank for as long as he was there. Like, that first year was magical. I mean, going to the playoffs, winning a playoff game, winning the AFC South title, losing the division around, that thing was amazing. Second year, they duplicated that, but what happened? Bobby Slowick wasn't doing some of the things that he should have been doing. Side note, that is why I asked, right? That's why I asked D'Amico on Monday. I said, you hired Bobby Slowick. You hired Bobby Slowick when you got hired. You brought him here. 2 years after that, you relieved him of his duties, right? And then, you know what? Give me a second, y'all. Y'all know I like to do this thing the right way. Give me a second if I can get this thing to come up. Here we go. Let me just do it this way. Where are we at? Here we go. I'm gonna play this.
No, look, we're pressing forward with everybody that we have. We're pressing forward with everybody that we have. We're collectively all in this together, and it all starts with me. So if you guys want to point the finger at somebody or put it on somebody, put it on me. That's my job, and ultimately it's my job to get it fixed. So and that's how it'll be. But we're rolling with what we have. Um, and we got to just all do better. Got to coach it better. We got to play better. We got to execute better on game day. And look, as bad as it seems, I tell guys at the end of the day, we're still, I mean, we're still one possession from getting getting that game, tied. Right? We find a way to make plays to do that? That's the NFL. As ugly as it may be, like we got to find ways to make plays at the end of the game. In the fourth quarter, it's all about how you finish, right? And we had an opportunity to finish it multiple times. So we just have to do a better job, find a way to win. All right. But we did some things yesterday that was bad football. Right. But I felt like the defense did an outstanding job of taking the football away, blocking a field goal, giving us a chance, right, to turn it around and get points on the board. It's a team. Collectively as a team, we'll stick together as a team and find a way to do that.
So that was very interesting to me. And the reason why it was very interesting to me is because I thought that I was very clear when I and enunciated my words correctly when I said, hey, you don't know what Nick Caley's going to be because you haven't seen him call a play. And he's been around the Patriot system and that success. He's been around the Ram system and that success and the brilliant mind of Sean McVay, but you still don't know what he's going to be. And then I added, he also doesn't have the liberty. He doesn't have the leeway. He doesn't have the room. He doesn't have the space in order to be unsuccessful because he's a first-time play caller. And as a first-time play caller, he is not going to be afforded the opportunity to grow. He's not going to be afforded the opportunity to get better. He's not going to be afforded the opportunity to develop later on. He doesn't have that time to develop. He doesn't have that time. And the reason why he doesn't is because they already had a first-year play caller in Bobby Slowick. And so if you're going to go back-to-back first-year play callers, what the second play caller will not get is the benefit of the doubt because it's already been given to the first rookie play caller. Maybe let me put it like this. I don't know how many of you all have multiple siblings, right? I don't know how many of you all have multiple siblings, but like I'm going to say it for me, right? For me, for myself. I'm the oldest, right? I'm the oldest. God rest her soul. Y'all see it right behind me. That's me when I was little, when it was just me and my mom. I think I was 5 years old in that picture. But I was the first, right? I'm the oldest child of three. The oldest of three. My middle brother has passed away. My youngest brother lives with his girlfriend, and his two kids live in Atlanta, right? But I'm the oldest. I'm the oldest, meaning that I'm first, right? I'm first. I came first. So everything that was afforded to me, given to me, everything because I was the first, I got that. And then by the time my middle brother came along, like he doesn't get the joy and excitement of being the first. He doesn't get the leeway to be able to do the things that I did because I was my mom's first child, and all the patience and all this that she had, she learned from dealing with me. And she's like, well, you're not going to get that because now I know what I'm dealing with. Brian was first. Anthony was second. So everything that Brian did, this, that, and other, he watched, and Brian is my government name. Everything that Brian did, Anthony ain't gonna be able to get away with. Brian got away with it because he was the first. That's my first child. I'm learning how to deal with him. I'm learning how to deal with him. And then hold on. Y'all give me a second. Seymour, get the Miss Jordan, close your ears. Hey, Seymour, get the fuck up out my chat. Sorry y'all had to hear me cuss. But Seymour had to go, whoever that is. So, as I digress, everything that Nick Caley could possibly get as a first-year play caller, Bobby Slowick used all of that up. And so now, just like what I asked Coach about, how long does it take to evaluate? How long does it take to assess? How long does it take before you move on? And what did he say? Hey, we're a team. Put this on me. Don't point the finger. Don't point the finger at nobody else. Point the finger at me. Well, Coach, how long does it take? Because the exact same thing that you experienced in year 2 of Bobby Slowick being your offensive coordinator, you're experiencing the same thing. And Bobby got fired. So how long is it before Nick Caley, if he can't get it together and turn this thing around, how long will it be before you make that switch? Are you going to allow this year just to play out and then make the decision? Because that may be too little too late. And what I mean by too little too late is, how many offensive coordinators do you think that the McNairs are going to allow you to have? And how many we got to start over again with offensive coordinators, and we also got to still find offensive linemen? And how long does Nick Caserio keep his job? Like, it's a lot of stuff that's going to factor in if the Houston Texans can't get this thing turned around. They got an amazing defense, but their offense is below average. Hell, what is below average? Whatever it is below average, that's what the offense is. And take away the points from the Baltimore Ravens game, what are they really averaging? What do they really look like? Why are they, I'm saying, how many points have they really averaged per game? But that offense on Monday night looked lethargic. It looked stagnant. It looked exactly what we witnessed last season when we said, damn, they can't even score. They can't even score. Hell, they couldn't even get a first down on third and half a yard. Then 4th and 1. And you run the exact same play, pretty much the exact same play. You get down to the goal line, you can't score. That offense looked bad. That offense looked terrible. And my thing is, hey, Coach, how long are you going to allow this offense to look terrible? Is there still a lot of time for them to turn this season around? It really is. Yes, it is. It's still enough time for them to turn this season around. They probably won't win the AFC South because for as bad, people talk about the Colts. We talked about the Colts here before, but people talk about the Colts schedule and who they've played. Well, you can only play who's on your schedule, because I guarantee you, if the Texans had played the schedule that the Colts played and they were 6-1, you wouldn't be saying a word. You'd be saying, hey, Texans are 6-1. You can only play who's on your schedule. The Colts can only play who's on their schedule, and those happen to be the teams. And they did exactly what they were supposed to do. If you think that those teams are subpar teams, if you think those teams are terrible teams, then what do? You go in and you beat terrible teams. That's exactly what the Colts have done. Hey, call it what you want to call it. Call it them barely squeaking by, them playing some teams that probably wouldn't make it in SEC. Call it what you want to call it. They did what they were supposed to do. They beat those teams that they were supposed to beat. And if you do that, you just keep it moving. So they probably won't catch the Colts. They're going to definitely be better than the Titans. They can split with the Jags and they can become better than the Jags. Then you got to look around at the rest of the AFC and see if they can make some type of wild card, some type of run to get into the wild card. But if you don't, now what? I think, once again, I've said this before. I'll say this again. And the reason why I keep the reason why I keep saying this, I said this before and I'll say it again, is because sometimes either people forget what I've said, or if people don't forget what I've said, people hear it other places and then think that where they heard it from was the original, or the original, an original concept by the person you heard it from, when it was really mine. And it's just, you know what? I don't want to call anybody a thief. I'll just say they borrowed it. But if you're getting paid off of it, you're stealing. I digress. What did I tell you all in the summer? The problem that DeMeco Ryans is having right now, the problems that that DeMeco Ryans and that team is having is they are a victim of their own success. They are a victim of their own success. If you flip-flopped the years that if you flip-flop the time DeMeco has been a head coach and put this season where they are right now in 2023, and then put the 2023 season behind that, and then the 2024 season behind that. But if you just put this season as his rookie year, nobody be complaining at all. Nobody. Nobody would be complaining at all. And the reason why you wouldn't be complaining is because you'll say, well, they're rebuilding. They're coming out of 3 years of a terrible, terrible, disorganized, dysfunctional situation. They're coming out of a very, very bad time for the Houston Texans organization. And if he starts out the year 2-4, you'd be like, all right, I got it. He's a rookie. Rookie head coach, rookie play caller, got a bunch of rookies leading the team. Okay, we'll give them time. And then, I don't know how this season is going to play out, but let's just say this season they end, it would end at them like 9-8, or let's just say 7-11, right? What is it, 7-11, 7-10, excuse me, right? And then they finish out this season below 500. And then the next season they win the AFC South and make it to the divisional round. And the next season they make it to the AFC in the divisional round. What you could say is, okay, they will be afforded. Like he would be able to afford to have another bad season after that third season if things were reversed. But because they've won back-to-back AFC South titles, because they've won back-to-back wild card playoff games, because they've been to the divisional round of the playoffs the last 2 years, there's no such thing as regressing or taking a step back or having a down year, because you've already shown and you've already given not only the organization but the fans a glimmer of hope of where they could go, of where you all could go. Because I'm going to be honest with you, the fans now coming into this season, the fans was like, hey, we appreciate the AFC South title. We appreciate the wild card win. We appreciate making it to the divisional round. Hey, we want to make it to the AFC game. And even if we lose in the AFC, in the AFC championship game, that's cool. But let's just get to one. And I mean, we got CJ, we got Nico, we got Will, we got Daniil, we got Kamari, we got Stingley, Like we got Aziz. Like we got we got the pieces. Let's make it there. We want to make it there. Because I'm going to be honest with you. Another AFC South title isn't good. Another wild card playoff game isn't good. Another divisional round appearance and a loss is not good enough in year 3 for the organization or for the Houston Texans fans because they are a victim of their own success. Listen, how many votes was D'Amico away from winning NFL Coach of the Year that they gave to Stefanski, who, by the way, I said this before, I'll say it again, I don't know how he still has a job, but he was right there. Then you come back and you duplicate that same success. You can't afford to be 2-4. At this point, they should really be either 4-2, 5-1. Either 4-2 or 5-1. They shouldn't be 2-4. But that brings it back to the title of this show. What is the Texans' offensive identity? They don't have one. Let's hear from D'Amico Ryans.
How much of it is before the snap and making sure everything's right before the snap versus just executing once the ball is snapped?
When it comes to protection, right, it is an all-11 thing. Of course, it's pre-snap communication. Things change post-snap. That's what football is about. It's about how do you adapt and adjust when you have, as I call, moving pictures. Guys are going to move around. You're not just going to always line up and show the offense what you're running, per se, on defense. So the communication is set. Now you just have adjustments, and there may be, communication before the snap, but it's just about adjusting, adapting fast, and making sure everybody's on the same page, and also making sure the quarterback receivers are on the same page as well. I know a lot where protection goes to the O-line, and that's what, everybody who sees it is the O-line, but it's everybody. Like, if we have to get the ball out because we're hot, we got to get the ball out. We got to find our hot answers. If we have a hot route, we got to make sure we're running the route the right way. So it's all encompassing. It's easy to just say, oh, the O-line didn't pick this up, but it's everybody has to be on the details.
Okay, let me stop right there. Because he says that everybody always looks at the O-line and say, the O-line ain't doing their job or whatever the case. I know I didn't say it verbatim. He says everybody on the offensive side got to do their job, right? Everybody got to do their job. Well, it starts up front. If you want CJ to be able to get the ball out of his hands quick enough, he's got to have enough time to be able to drop back at least. At least have enough time to be able to drop back. And don't get me wrong. I mean, because CJ even admitted, not only in the press conference, but when he talked to when I talked to him in the locker room, he admitted, he said, hey, look, there's some plays, and he went down the list. He talked about the plays that he missed. He said, these are some plays that I could have done better. So he takes accountability. He knows that he could have played better, right? But then I know, and I'm watching, and I'm saying to myself, yes, CJ could have played better, but that line has to give him a lot more time. They have to give him a lot more time. And some of you all don't realize what I was saying on last week's show when I said, even when CJ has the time, he doesn't have the time. Even though CJ has time, he doesn't have the time because when he drops back and there's pressure coming or there's people at his feet, or even if he drops back and he has a second or two and he's scanning the field, that young man has taken so many hits. That young man has been sacked so many times. Sacked, hit, pressured. He's just going into his third year, and he already looks like, well, damn, how long am I supposed to, what am I, well, not what am I supposed to do, because that's not what he said. I'm saying this is what Sarge is saying. If you give him constant protection, you'll see constant completions. If you give him constant protection, you'll see constant moving of the ball. If you give him constant protection, you'll see constant touchdowns. But if you're not, and if that's not happening, you can't give him protection every fourth play. Because what about the other three? I want you to go back and I want you to look at the third play of the first. That was the third play of the first quarter, if I'm not mistaken. And when CJ, I thought it was a safety. Everybody else thought it was a safety. I thought it should have been a safety. But if you go back and you take a look, and I don't have time, normally we'll break this stuff down. I don't have time. Maybe we'll do that on Thursday's show. But when you go back and you look, first thing you want to say is, CJ, why are you dropping back? Why are you drifting? Why aren't you stepping up? But if you go back and you look, he can't step up. He can't step up. So he's trying to drift and move to try to get something so he can at least try to throw the ball away, but ain't nowhere to throw the ball away to. Just go back and take a look at it when you have time. But when D'Amico says it's everybody, sure, you're right. Everybody who plays on the offensive side of the ball has to take some type of accountability and responsibility for that. But we all know, we watch the game too, right? And no, we don't know the calls. We don't know what the offensive play is called. But we watch too. And if you want CJ to make the plays that you want him to play, if you want him to use the hot route or the hot receiver, get the ball out of his hands fast enough, we all know that starts with protection. That starts with protection. And so when you look at it that way, you have got to say, all right, I get everything, but yes, we got to get our offensive line going first.
CJ's taken a lot more responsibility, or was given to him, at least at the line, to identify that pressure. How do you think he's doing pre-snap and identifying pressures and audibles and stuff?
Yeah, it's not from a matter of identifying what we're doing with the pressure. I think we're identifying it well. It's just how are we executing after the ball is snapped. That's the main thing.
So is it pre-snap or is it post-snap? I got questions, but I'm gonna let this play.
You mentioned that you're seeing things in games that you're not practicing, and do you understand why that's happening and how to get this fixed?
Yeah, I'm figuring out why things are happening. It's always baffling as a coach when you go through and you practice a certain thing and you work it a certain way, and guys get in the game and do something completely different. Well, that's being disjointed. Like, we got to be on the same page. And not on the same page, like we don't know what we're doing. We just got to do what we called. We got to run what we call, right? The techniques we work, the things we established throughout training camp, we got to do completely different. Well, that's being disjointed. Like, we got to be on the same page and not on the same page, like we don't know what we're doing. We just got to do what we called. We got to run what we call, right? The technique.
Okay. When I heard that, I ain't gonna even lie to you. When I heard that reminded me of a former Houston Texans head coach who also had a pretty good quarterback. I don't know if you put Matt Schaub on the same level as what CJ could be. I mean, his career is still young as far as CJ is concerned. I wouldn't do that, but Matt Schaub was a very, very good quarterback. When I heard him say that, I don't know how many of you all know this or not, but Kubiak wouldn't let Matt Schaub audible. Run the play I call. Now, if you remember last week, somebody asked Coach Rhines about talking, about Clint Kubiak, excuse me. And then he said, I probably won't get a call this week from Coach since, I probably won't get a call from Coach since, since I'm going up against his son. And he started laughing. But when Kubiak was here, I don't. Matt Schaub wasn't allowed to audible, and if he did, it was very, very, very rare, right? But then Matt Schaub also had some weapons around him. Had an offensive line that protected him. When it came to Deshaun Watson and Bill O'Brien was pretty much the same way as well. Hey, run the play that I call. Run the play that I call. And even though it ended badly, the Texans still had, weapons. They still had, things that would make Bill O'Brien's offense successful, and especially because of, Deshaun Watson. So when I'm hearing this, I'm saying, I get it. I get it. Just run the play that's called. But what I don't get, right? What I don't get is if you're telling him just to run the play that was called, then what happened to giving him more freedom to do more freedom and more responsibility from coming into this season under Nick Caley? One of the things that was said over and over and over repeatedly, I know because I was there. They're going to access thing again. I just had to throw that in there. One of the things that was repeated constantly was what? Hey, we're going to give CJ more control over the offense. We're going to allow CJ to do more. CJ's going to be able to audible more. CJ's going to be able to have more control. But now you say that, and then you come back and you say, just run the play that was called, right? I ain't never played quarterback before in the NFL. But the closest thing I've come to playing quarterback in the NFL is on Madden. And so I know that if I'm playing Madden and I break the huddle and I'm scanning and I'm looking and I know the play that I call, I damn sure know the play that I call. But if I'm looking and I'm scanning and I'm saying to myself, hold on, man. This play that I call, it ain't going to work against this defense. It's not. I planned on running exactly to the spot that my opponent just shifted the defensive line to. And he's walked up the safety. I can't just run the play. I got to audible. I got to change the play. I got to do something. I have to do something. That's the first thing. Second thing is this. Hey, we should just run the play that's called. Well, what? But what if the person that's calling the play is calling that's giving me the play is making bad play calls? Now, you know what? Let's just call it what it is, y'all. There's been some elementary, basic-ass football being called on the offensive side of the ball. I'll say it. I'll say it, and I'll take the backlash for it. I don't care. There's been some fundamentally bad offensive plays called that has been ran, and not only have they been ran, but they have been terrible play calls, and then you call them again. Okay, so just run the play that's called. All right, so we're going to run this play on 3rd and half a yard. It didn't work. No. Yeah, we got to run the same damn play, y'all. It didn't work. I know it didn't work the first time. They say run it again. All right, so run it again. Well, damn, CJ, what if you get to the line and you can see that you could fake the handoff and bootleg it out? Hey, we got to run the play. Run the play that's called. Hey, we're on the goal line. How many times can you roll to the right? That's the only thing you think that CJ can do? You think CJ, the only thing he can do is run to the right? Now, Sean said, can we also talk about how CJ doesn't have a hard count? It's just white AT set hut every time. It's funny you say that. Because when I ask CJ about, being able to help the offensive line when it comes to delayed stunts and delayed blitzes. He said, try to change up the cadence or whatever the case may be, but most of the time, and then he went into his answer, I'm going to play that earlier, that's why I'm not going into it in detail. And then when I asked him about it later, he says that when we come in, we see what's going on, and I get to going this, that, and other. I get to going calling out the cadences or whatever the case may be. And in the midst of calling out the cadences or whatever, then things start to shift and start to change. Well, if I change it right there, I'm going to throw my players off. Now, this isn't every time. This is just sometime. But I'm going to throw off my players because I'm starting to see and identify. And when I start to try to call things out, I got to also remember that the clock is running down too. Because I don't know if y'all remember or not, but there was 2 instances. Those 2 safeties, if you go back and you look at the play clock, that clock was running down. And I know the safeties weren't called, but I called them safety because it should have been safeties. That play clock was running down. That wasn't the first time. And I asked Coach about the pace, and he said they have no issues with pace on getting in and out of the huddle on Monday night. And I'm saying, all right. Okay.
We work, the things we established throughout training camp, we got to do that, right? And when we do that, you'll see we operate efficiently. We are able to be in the right spot defensively, special teams wise. We're able to get our blocks done the right way when we just execute what we practice all week, right? You can't get in a game. So I told our guys today, you can't get in a game and overcomplicate football. I know football can be a complex game within a game, but to me, football is simple. And you make it simple, you keep it simple, and allow guys to go play fast. All right, and that's what we've done, but we don't need to make things up. We don't need to try to do something or press and make a play. We just have to stay with what we've been coached to do it the right way every single time.
But what if it ain't working? No matter how much you coach him up, what if it's not working? Somebody drop in the chat what the meaning of insanity is. Somebody drop in the chat what the meaning of insanity is. If I'm not mistaken, it's doing the same thing over and over, expecting a different result. Doing the exact same thing over and over, expecting a different result. There's no possible way that you can say, just run the plays, keep running the plays, do what you're coached up to do. Don't try to do this, don't try to do that. I get it. Coach just said it, and I get it. Hey, man, you don't need to go out and try to, do all this other stuff. Football is just simple. It's just a simple game. You go out there and you do what you're supposed to do. And while I never played like Coach has, Coach played in the NFL for years, very good. I've never coached. I feel like he's a very good coach. But by the same token, football is also a game of adjustments. And if your offensive coordinator is not making the adjustments, then what the hell do you want your offense to do? I don't get it. I don't understand what that means. That's on defense. On offense, it's a different story. I don't. You got to elaborate on that. But my thing is, some of the best quarterbacks, some of the best offenses are the ones. You know what? I'll put it like this. Look at the system that the Kansas City Chiefs run. Sure, they have a system in place where, hey, man, this is the play call. But Patrick Mahomes has the ability to do what he needs to do in order for that offense to keep going, in order for that offense to be effective, in order for that offense to be efficient. And so if there is a run play call and he comes out and he sees something else, he changes the play. Or if there's a pass play call and he snaps the ball and he doesn't see what he needs to do, then what does he do? Because also in the game of football, there you improvise. You adjust. Once again, I'm on the outside looking in. I've never coached in the NFL at all. I don't know what it takes to coach in the NFL. I never played in the NFL. I feel like I have to keep prefacing that before somebody jumps in and says something crazy and I had to put them up out of here. But with that being said, I get it. You want them to just run the plays that are called. You want them to do exactly what the play is designed to do. And sometimes the play looks great on paper, but you got to go out there and you got to execute it. Because that play might look amazing when you draw it up. That play may work 9 times out of 10 during practice. But when now it's time to implement it and run it against that run play, let's just say a run play that you designed to go up against the one of the best run defenses in the NFL, in the Seattle Seahawks. Their front seven, we talked about. My first question to coach last week was about the defensive front seven, right? The defensive line, the defensive front seven in general. If the play is drawn up and you say just run the play, but in the midst of that, you see you see DeMarcus Lawrence and I can't think of the other guy's name, the other big guy that they got. They shift into the hole that you want to run in, and see, this is the thing, right? This is the thing. Hey, man, just build a house like it say right here in the instructions, right? Hey, here go the instructions right here. These are the instructions. right here. Here go the instructions right here, right? Build a house. Cool. All right. Building the house. All right. So, all right. Yep. We got that. Okay, so I know that we got the concrete to, to lay the foundation. We got the wood to build a house, right? We got, okay, so they've already, factored in what we're going to need for landscaping. So we got the grass and all that. All right, cool. Oh, we even got the paint already to paint the house. So we got, all right. So we got the things that involve building a house. Okay, cool. I'm ready. Hey, what are the tools? No. Like, where the nail gun at? Like, where the nail gun at? What the sander at? Like, where the hammer? Like, where the screwdriver? Like, where the power tools? Like, where the tools? Like, look, I see that we have. I do see that we got the concrete, we got the wood, we got the grass, we got the paint. Where are the tools? Because if I don't have the tools, how in the hell am I supposed to build a house? Sure, you've given me instructions on how to build a house. You've given me things. You've given me things that can be used to build that. You're giving me the things that can be used to build the house, right? To put the house together, right? But without no tools, I can't do shit. So you've given me offensive linemen, may not be the best offensive linemen, but you're giving me offensive linemen. So you're saying, hey, you got offensive linemen. Cool. All right, cool. I got offensive linemen. We've given you the play. Here go the play. You got the offensive linemen. Just make it work. How that's supposed to work when you're giving me the play? You're giving me offensive linemen, but those are just bodies. Because now, if you watched what D'Amico said today, and Kim Davis from KD, I think it's KD Media, if you listen to what Kim Davis asked him, she asked him about technique versus talent. She asked him about the tech. She said technique, when it comes to offensive linemen, she asked about the technique versus the talent. And he said, you got to have technique, good techniques. He said he's seen guys who's been undrafted, drafted in later rounds, play on the offensive line and do an amazing job. I know personally, I watched some offensive linemen that nobody thought was going to be nothing. And they went to other places and they thrive. I'm not talking about Texas, but they just went to other places and they thrive. So when you don't have, when you just got bodies, but you don't have those bodies doing the techniques and what they need to do, then I don't have the tools. I don't have what I need in order to build this house, because to me, you've given me the instructions, you've given me wood, cement, but how am I supposed to build it when I can't put it together? I don't understand that, Coach.
When I say it's one snap at a time, that's what I truly mean. It's not, I need to make this big play. You need to focus in one snap at a time, do exactly what you're coached to do. When we do that, we play well. When we get outside of that and we try to do more, that's when we don't play well. So it's not complicated to play this game. We don't need to make it that way. Let's play fast and let's play fun.
You guys got a 3-game homestand. How important will these next 3 games be just to kind of get you guys back on the track that you guys want to go?
Yeah, for me, I really don't care about the 3 games. Like, it's all about the Niners. And it's not about getting on track. It's about the Niners and playing how we need to play to go play well versus the Niners. I really don't care about the home stretch and all. Like, can we focus on one play at a time? I really don't even care about the game versus it's one play at a time. Be locked in, do what you're supposed to do.
My only question would be, if this is a speech that you're giving to your players, what is the speech you're giving to your coaches on the offensive side of the ball? Like, what speech are you giving to the coaches on the offensive side of the ball? It makes no sense to me. It makes no sense to me that you want these players to go out here and execute a bad game plan. Because the way I see it, right? I don't know what coach and the rest of his staff is looking at. I don't know how they break things down. I don't understand it. I don't, because it's not for me. I do my own set of breakdowns. I look and I look at the breakdown and I say to myself, all right. This is what I would have done if I was coaching, but they got a whole nother way that they do things, and I can't knock it because I don't know what they're actually trying to do. But by the same token, I don't know. Because to me, it looks like they're doing exactly what they're coached to do. If the play calling is bad and they're executing terrible play calling, then how's that on the players? Okay, so if you want them to execute exactly what you want them to do, right? If they're executing bad play calling and CJ doesn't have enough offensive weapons to do what needs to be done, and that's from the offensive line and the skill positions. Because how many games did Nico, Stephon Diggs, and Tank all play together? I felt like that would have been special if they would have all been able to play together. But I think they only played together like a game and a half. maybe 2 at the most, that they all played together. And then injuries started to set in, right? Injuries started to set in here and there for, Nico went down, Stephon Diggs went down, and then Tank went down. So they didn't ever really get to play all together at the same time. So the only constant that has been there is CJ and Nico. CJ and Nico. When last time he's had a true number 2 wide receiver? Okay. Let's not talk about the skill position. A lot of you all hated Laramie Tunsil, right? A lot of you all hated Laramie Tunsil. Hated him. Wanted him to go. Do I believe that Ariante Ursery is going to be one of the best left tackles in this game? I do. He just ain't that right now. And he's a rookie. So he shouldn't be. He shouldn't be. He should not. He shouldn't be a dominant left tackle right now because he's a rookie. He's still learning. And there's things that he has to learn and get better at. But you got rid of one of the staple of your offensive line. And listen, no matter what you think about the run block, and what he did was he protected CJ's blind side. He protected CJ's blind side, and that gave CJ an opportunity to operate and do some things way more than like CJ made that offense work way more than it was supposed to last season. And he took 52 sacks. He took 52 because I think, if I'm not mistaken, Caleb Williams was number 1 at 68. Either way. So you got a rookie and left tackle. You don't know who's going to play left guard on a consistent basis. You got Jake Andrews, you got Ed Ingram, and then you got Titus Howard, who has been the staple and the best offensive lineman you've had this season. And you want CJ to make wine out of water. You want CJ to take his finger and stick it on the offensive playbook and turn it from water into wine. Some of you all will get that reference. Some of you won't. If you don't go to church, if you ain't a believer, you won't get it. I ain't got time to explain to you. Ask one of your Christian friends. They'll break it down to you. You may have to give them offering. They may ask for Cash App or Venmo. Hell, maybe even Bitcoin. But they want CJ to put his finger on the playbook and turn it from water into wine. That's a lot to ask for from a quarterback who's going into his 3rd year, who's 6 games into his 3rd season. But he's also on his second offensive play caller. You want CJ to just run the play. You want CJ to just run the play and do what the play is called. You want him to just to go in there, do what you're coached to do. If the play call is this, then you do it. Well, hell, coach. I mean, he had just learned a system in 2 years, and then you take that system away, and now he has to learn a whole new system. He's 6 games into learning Nick Caley's system, which has no identity. You don't know. You don't. You want to be a running team. You want to control the clock. You want to control the line of scrimmage. You want to control the time of possession. Then if that's the case, then you need to walk upstairs. You need to walk upstairs or come from, out of your office, go down the way. Hey, Nick, I need to talk to you. You walk in there, you tell him, we need better protection for CJ. I don't know how it's going to get done. I don't know what it's going to take to get done. But there's no possible way that we can keep sending him out here, asking him to do what he needs to do, and we ain't giving him nothing to stay upright on. You want to run the ball, but you don't have the right offensive lineman to run the ball, to dominate the line of scrimmage.
Said a few times that you're one possession away. What can you do? What can you change in order to close that gap? And considering that the trade deadline is less than 2 weeks away, where do you stand as far as maybe making a move or moves that could help you get over that hump?
Yeah, all games in the NFL, or most of the games, are one possession games, 8 points or less. And you look back at the history of it, since I've been here, we've been in, I think it's over like 25 of those games in the past 3 years. So it's truly one possession games that we've been in. We're close a lot in games. Games are close. That's why the NFL is a fun league, because the games are close. Now you have to go back to what I said earlier. It's just do your job. One play is not just because it's a one possession game. I need to make something up and do something different than I'm coached to do. You just got to execute one play. It gets boring. You hear execute it, and I get it. Everybody don't want to hear it, but that's what the game comes down to. It's taking advantage of guys who don't execute. When you take advantage of them, guys in a bad spot, that's when you make a play, when you don't make things up.
Specifically about Jaden Higgins and Jalen Noel, if they have to have increased roles, what do you want and hope to see from them?
I just want to see Higgins and Knowles do what they've done, and that's just be the guys they are. They don't have to do anything extra, right? If their roles are increased, great. It means more opportunities for those guys to make plays, but they don't have to go out and beat someone else. They just need to be themselves and be the guys who we saw at Iowa State make play after play after play, just because they did it the right way. So that's what they have to go do.
So how much of what happens up front, let's say in the line of scrimmage, is one side is controlling the line of scrimmage, how much of that is technique versus talent?
Remember, I told you all Kim Davis asked an amazing question. I told you all Kim asked an amazing question, and y'all got to hear this. And so for those of y'all who are just joining, she just asked, when it comes to the offensive line, how much of it has to do with technique versus talent?
Oh, that's a great question, Kim. A ton of it, I believe, truly a ton of it up front has to do with technique. Right? And of course, you want to be the most talented group. You want to have the most talented guy possible. But I've seen guys of all who came in the offensive line from all different, whether it's undrafted all the way to first rounder. It's just about that group is really about the details and the communication and being tied together, playing together. That is the bulk of it, whoever steps out there. And I've seen people win games with backup offensive linemen, seen them win with starter, but it doesn't change. You're working in a small space. You got to be on it. Things happen quickly. You got to be able to react very quickly up front and just be where you're supposed to be, putting your hat in the right place, shooting your hands when you need to shoot your hands, like playing with great footwork, good knee bend. When you play with low pads, you have a chance to be successful up front. If you do something erratic and you're out of position or you're playing too wide, now you're just susceptible to a lot of inside movements, which we can do a better job of here, is just protecting more inside out.
Obviously, Will Anderson came in for you guys and had an immediate impact. What have you seen from him that has allowed him to keep growing and keep developing, week after week, despite that early success?
For Will Anderson, the thing that sets him apart from most guys I've been around is, when I talk about a relentless intensity and pursuit for your goals, he is the epitome of that. It's I don't see anyone working as hard as this guy. I don't see anyone who it means so much to him, to see not himself only just succeed, but to see our team succeed. It means a lot to him. He's very passionate about it, and he's not just passionate on Sunday. He's out there today in our walkthrough, passionate about what he's doing. So when you have that type of mindset that Will operates with, and he's out there early working with Coach Rod and working on techniques on how he can improve in every single facet of his game. When you put that much attention to what you're doing and you want to get better, you'll get better.
When you look at your offense, how do you define its identity? What is it to you?
the identity of our offense is, at the end of the day, to me, identity of offensive football is move the ball. It doesn't matter. People want, we'll run first, pass first. It doesn't matter. Like, if you get 4 yards, you get 4 yards. It's that's throwing the ball, passing the ball, and offense just has to be efficient. And that's what it has to be, right? When we played versus the Titans and versus the Ravens, what was our identity? We moved the football because we were efficient. We stayed on track. It didn't matter if we ran the ball or we threw the ball. Short passes, it didn't matter. Like, that's what offensive football is about, right? And that's what, the team we're playing this week and watching these guys on tape, what's their identity, right? They move the football. Like, they find ways to get the ball out. They run the ball well. They throw the ball quick, getting out of the quarterback's hands very well, and they're efficient with what they're doing.
So I wanted to save that for last, and then, of course, Sam from the Houston Chronicle, he asked a question about George Kittle for tight end for the San Francisco 49ers. Then I asked the final question about the pace, and I didn't want to, to put all that in there. I just want to make sure that last question got in there, because that's exactly what I said a day or two ago, that they don't have any offensive identity. On Thursday show, we'll break down what CJ had to say, and we'll talk about what he said when he was asked that same question. But at this point, the Texans don't have an offensive identity. There's not one thing that you can look at and point to that they do well as a unit. And we shouldn't be saying that right now in year 3. In year 3, we should be looking at and seeing where this team is taking that next step on how good they can be. But one of the reasons why the Houston Texans are stuck where they are right now at 2-4, and the offense doesn't look good. All right, let me set myself up for this one. Give me a second. Give me some water. Okay. For some of you all, you're about to hear some repeated things that I've said in the past. For some of you all, this is going to be your first time hearing this. But for some of you all, you're going to hear this again. And I know that I'm going to sound like a broken record, but it has to be said every time we talk about situations like this, and with them not having an offensive identity. One of the reasons why the Texans do not have an offensive identity is because they've had an offensive line issue for a while, but specifically the last 2 years. And in those 2 years, one thing that has been constant, you've heard me say before, DeMeco can put a list of the groceries that he wants. It's left up to Nick to go out and get the groceries. DeMeco can put down what he wants to cook as the chef, but it's Nick Casario's job to go out and get the groceries. If DeMeco has to make the list of what needs to be cooked and buy the groceries, then that means there's no reason that Nick Caserio should be in the executive vice president / general manager role. Now, You're asking me why I'm saying that, right? What does this have to do with food, Sarge? It doesn't have to do anything with food. I wanted to just use that analogy as the chef who does the cooking, and then the person who goes out and gets the groceries for the chef to cook to make the gourmet meal, right? Because the Houston Texans offense especially can't make the gourmet meal if they don't have the right ingredients, or if he asks for a specific ingredient that he needs and Nick goes out and gets the generic version of that, right? Let me give you an example. On the defensive side of the ball, right? D'Amico says, I need this in order to do this. I need these ingredients in order to cook this gourmet meal. When you look at the defensive side of the ball, Derek Stingley Jr. was already here. Derek Stingley Jr. was already here when D'Amico got here. But since then, in cooking up this 5-star gourmet meal on the defensive side of the ball, D'Amico said, I need this. Nick went out and got him Kamar Lassiter, Kalen Bullock, Will Anderson Jr., Aziz Al-Shair, brought in some more of that defensive line unit that goes in and out, that helps out. But he went out and he went out. Now he got another good cornerback that's coming off of injured reserve that I feel is going to be good, in Jalen Smith. Another one in safety, Jalen Reed. I mean, D'Amico also asked for something that was rotten, and that was, we know, C.J. Gardner-Johnson. Okay, you throw that out of the meal. You just don't add that to the meal anymore. But he went out and he got him everything he needed to cook and to make this great meal on defense. So then he asked for the same thing on the offensive side of the ball. And then what do you go out and you get him? Sure. I feel like Higgins and Noah one day is going to be good. I feel like Ariante is going to be good. I feel like Woody Marks is going to be good. But by the time they are good, by the time they are good, Caserio may not be here. D'Amico may not be here. But one of the key ingredients on the offensive side of the ball in order to make a gourmet meal is the offensive line unit. 2 years, Nick has stood on the back of the field and watched the entire training camp. Well, let me take that back. Not the entire training camp. But he stood on the back field, on the back end zone or behind wherever they're practicing at, and he's watched. He's watched from the sideline. But he was at every training camp practice. Like every mini camp, every OTA, every training camp, every preseason game, every practice during the week. Like Nick is watching, and he's watching. And last year, he knew that he had an offensive line issue. There was no secret about it. Coming out of training camp, myself and others said, what? Don't know what that offensive line unit is going to do, because one, they haven't practiced enough with each other. They ain't practiced enough with each other. And then two, you just don't know what you're going to get. And the Houston Texans offensive line ended up being the worst offensive line in the NFL. On Nick Caserio's watch. All right. That's 2024. 2025. You get rid of your best offensive lineman in Laremy Tunsil. You got rid of him. And then you brought in Cam Robinson, and where is he at? You got Laken Tomlinson. What is he doing? He's splitting time with Juice Scruggs, who needs the time to be in the lineup to develop if that's where you're going to put him. You got Jake Andrews, and I don't know if anybody else has been watching. He has not looked great. He's not. He's not looked great at all, period. Could you put Patterson in there? Sure you could. CJ's used to playing with Patterson. But is that an upgrade? But you could put Patterson, there. Then you have Ed Ingram. And then you have Titus Howard. And then you look at some of the backup offensive linemen. You don't know what Blake Fisher's going to be. In training camp, he couldn't get out of his own head. And then coming into the season, he was finally able to put some things together when they use him as an extra offensive lineman in the offensive unit. He doesn't look bad. He doesn't look bad, and is letting him know, help keep his confidence up, because he could be playing in a certain position, later on this season, or maybe even at the beginning of next season. But with that being said, Nick Caserio watched the offensive line last season. Nick Caserio watched the line this season. And if you had the worst offensive line last season, with the way things are going now throughout the first 6 games played, where do you think that this offensive line is going to end up? And that's why you have no offensive identity. Listen, I don't know if some of the mishaps of the downfall of the offensive unit and Nick Caley not being able to have his plays executed is because of the lack of time that CJ has, or the lack of protection, or the inability to just strictly run the ball. I don't know how many people, see it that way. That's what I see it as. When you break all of this down, when you look at all of it, it falls squarely on the shoulders of Nick Caserio, because you don't have a franchise quarterback and you don't protect him. You don't have a franchise quarterback and do not protect him. People criticize CJ. I'm not here to tell you how to watch football. I'm not here to tell you how to analyze football. I'm not here to tell you how to fan. I'm not here to talk about your fandom. Everybody's different. Everybody looks at things different ways. But when I look at the game, and I'm saying to myself, CJ's a third-year quarterback. He's still going to make mistakes. I see players that have been in the league, quarterbacks that's been in the league 7 years still make mistakes. I've seen quarterbacks that have been in the league 10 years. They still make mistakes. I'm not saying that CJ is not going to make mistakes. But you need him to be able to make those mistakes on his own, not because he's being forced into those mistakes. If you know what I mean by that, and if not, don't worry about it. Sarge here to help break it down. If he throws a pick because he didn't see a linebacker dropping back into coverage, that's on CJ. If he throws an interception because he was rolling right and tried to throw back across his body left and it gets picked off, that's on CJ. If he's scrambling out of the pocket and sees a defender in front of him and doesn't get the ball over his head, over the defender's head into the receiver who's behind him, and it gets picked off, that's on CJ. All of that is on CJ. And if he's going to make those type of mistakes, you allow him to make those type of mistakes. But when CJ is throwing an interception because he's under pressure, he's trying to get the ball out of his hands, he sees a wide receiver, the closest thing to it, he really doesn't sometimes probably doesn't want to throw the ball, but he got to get the ball out of his hand, and it end up being an interception because he's being pressured. How much of that is on CJ? If he goes to, if the play requires him to do 5 to a 7-step drop, and by the time he gets into the 4th step of the 5-step or the 7-step drop, there's already a defender or a man in his face. How is that on CJ? There was a play where CJ got sacked. I don't remember. Was it the 4th quarter? Could have been the 4th quarter. Where the safety started to creep up slowly. And right before the ball was snapped, he shot the gap in between Ed Ingram and Titus Howard and sacked CJ. Came clean through. Nobody even seen him. Is that on CJ? Because they disguised the blitz very well. Don't get me wrong. They disguised the blitz very well. And what CJ said on Wednesday was, hey, man, sometimes the defense just beats you. Like he says that. Sometimes ain't nothing you can do. They just called a better play, right? But when you look at what the Seattle Seahawks did to the Houston Texans on Monday night from a defensive standpoint, coming out of a bye week, you thought that they should have been better prepared. And I'm not gonna harp on that because you've heard that too many times on other shows and on the radio and on social media. You've heard that too many times. I'm not going to use that narrative or go deeper into that narrative. It should have been more prepared. But you damn sure should have been more prepared for that defensive front, knowing who they are, and what they want to do. If you're trying to run a stretch play, trying to run any play, and by the time CJ hands the ball off to the running back and there's one or two defenders already in the backfield, is that on CJ? Is it on CJ if he wants to run tight end screen, wide receiver screen, whatever the case may be, and he drops back and he has to hesitate in order for the screen to develop, but he doesn't even have enough time for the screen to develop because there are defenders in the backfield. Is that on CJ? I'm not here absolving CJ from all of the mistakes that he's made. But what I'm asking you is, as we go all the way back to the beginning, is just execute the play, just run the play. What play? This play that's going to be long developing? This play that we can't get going because I can't get any protection? Just run the play? Cool. Here, 3rd and 1, 3rd and half a yard. Oh, we got to stop. What's the next play? Same play. Hold down the X. And for those of y'all who play Madden, old school Madden on the PlayStation, the regular PlayStation, or even PlayStation 3, 4, whatever it was, just hold down the X. We're going to run the same play. Then you run the same play. Then you get down to the goal line. Just run the play. And you can't score on the goal line. Right? Right. Okay. Just run the play. I don't know if anybody noticed this or not. I'm going to show you all something. I said I wasn't going to do this, but I'm going to show you all something. From a TikTok family, you're just going to have to listen to this one. I'm going to break it down very well for you, though. We'll break it down very well for you. Let me show y'all something. Where is it? Boop, boop, ba-doo. Boop, ba-doo, 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 boop, ba-doo. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Once again. All right. I'm going to share the screen. Y'all give me a second. I'm going to have to share the screen. Here we, you know what? No, let me do something real quick. Let me do something right quick. Y'all hold on, because I got some work that I got to do. But y'all hold on for 1 second. Give me 1 second. Just give me 1 second. Let me see. It's not what I was trying to do, good sir. No. Give me 1 second, y'all. Let me see if this is it. Okay. Hold on. All right. Because I'm pretty sure y'all want to know what I'm talking about. We're going to do this from let's do this from the Texans perspective first, right? Let's do this from the Texans perspective. All right, TikTok family, just bear with me for a second. Okay, so this is the third quarter. This is the play that I was talking about. All right? This is 3rd and 1. All right? 3rd and 1. Just run the play, CJ. All right. No, but for real though, CJ, just run the play. This is 3rd and 1. Anybody else seeing what I'm seeing? 3rd and 1. You see how much pressure? You see how much pressure they getting? You see how much pressure? This is 3rd and 1. Let's look at it from this point. 3rd and 1. You can't get a yard. Right? 3rd and 1. You run the ball. You say, all right, Sarge. I mean, you could do that, right? Now, I'm going to tell you exactly what I said to one of the players in the locker room, which is the exact same thing that I said on social media. Hey, if you know that you're going to go for it on 4 downs, right? You know that you're going for it on 4 downs. Then why not play action on 3rd down and then try to run the ball on 4th down? Nope. You tried to run the ball 3rd and 1 for no gain. Well, here's the very next play. Fourth and 1. Oh, hey, this time let's see if we can stretch it. Let's see if we can stretch it. Let's just see if we can stretch the play. You go to the same side. Same side. I'm looking at the wrong thing? Okay, hold on. Yeah, y'all didn't say that, but let's just look at it from this way. See how much pressure? Just run the play, CJ. Yeah, no, we don't care that it's the same play. We don't care that it's pretty much the same play to the same side. Nah. We don't care nothing about that, CJ. Hold on. I'm about to get it now. Now we're getting off into this. I got one more that I want to look at. Now, mind you, I just showed you what This is the difference. This is the difference in play calling in general, right? Play calling in general. But look at how much more experienced. Look how much more experienced Clint Kubiak is in doing this and making it work than Nick Caley. I just showed you back-to-back plays. I just showed you back-to-back plays, 3rd and 1, 4th and 1. This is, what's this? This is 4th and 1, right? Same quarter, early in the quarter. This is the same. This is 4th and 1. I just showed you the Houston Texans play on 3rd and 1 and 4th and 1, right? Now this is 4th and 1 for the Seattle Seahawks. Let me just look at it from the sideline. Tell me if you don't notice the difference. This is 4th and 1. They got 2 really good, competent running backs. Look at what they're doing. Hey, man, put the ball in the hands of Sam Darnold. Let him do what he needs to do. Look at this. That's an 18-yard play. That is an 18-yard play on 4th and 1. Look. Play action. Play action. See that? Play action. You want to see it from another angle? Let's look at it from this way. Play action. If you know you're going to go for it on 4th down, why not do play action on 3rd down? And then come back and try to run the ball. This is a 4th and 1 play. 4th and 1. You know what the Houston Texans are expecting? Run. You know what Clint Kubiak knows? You know what's going through Clint Kubiak's mind? For those of y'all who don't know, Clint Kubiak is the offensive coordinator for the Seattle Seahawks. You know what Clint Kubiak is thinking? Hey, they're thinking run. We're going to go pass. It's 4th and 1. Going up against a very aggressive defense, a very good defense. Excuse me. They want to make a stop, and they want to get off the field. They want to make a stop, and they want to get off the field. What do you think they're thinking? Hey, it's 4th and 1. They're going to run the ball. Let's stop them from running. You know what Clint Kubiak says? Well, hell, if they're thinking about running, then we should just pass. The exact same thing that you should have been thinking, Nick Caley. Freeze him just long enough. Look, he didn't even have to go all the way through with the full play action. Just look, this right here is enough to freeze. See what they did? Watch this. Let's do it from this way. And look at what they're doing. Look at the formation they're in. You don't know what's coming. Are they going to try to run the ball? Or are they going to pass the ball? Not only that, hey, it's okay. Throw a man in coverage so you can see what defense they're running. But I guess I'm just the only one, though, right? I guess I'm just the only one who thinks about those type of things. Okay. What is the offensive identity of the Houston Texans? They don't have one. And I feel like in 3 weeks, we'll be right back here having this same conversation. What is the identity of Houston Texans? Do I want to come back here and have this conversation? I do not. I would rather come back here for the Texans fans to tell them, hey, man, Nick Caley really turned it around. But the only way that it's going to get turned around, the only way that this offense is going to get turned around is that Nick Caley is going to have to go to CJ Stroud and say, look, CJ, I don't know. I don't know, what we've been doing as a complete unit over the last 6 games. But from this point forward, we're going to ride it out with you, brother. If I'm going to lose my job, then I'm going to go down. I'm going to lose my job knowing that I did everything to make a franchise quarterback as successful as I can, or as successful as I could. Give me a second. Because, hold on. Give me 1 second. What are we looking at? Nope. I think this is the year. Let me write this down. And I was there for it. All right. Hold on. Who was? Because that's the year I think that ain't that the year that they changed? Hold on, give me a second. Give me a second, y'all. Because I want to make sure that I give you all the most accurate information. Because I if I'm not mistaken, this is that year. Where is it? I know I can ask y'all, but I don't want to sound like an idiot. That's what I thought. That's what I thought. That's exactly what I thought. I knew it was that year. Y'all, I knew it was that year. All right, I'm back. All right, y'all, I'm gonna say this. Then I'm gonna get ready to. Oh, it's almost 10 o'clock. Good Lord, my wife gonna say, "Boy, I thought you said." All right. Let me tell you something. If I'm Nick Caley, right? if I'm Nick Caley, I'm calling on, and I'm going back and I'm looking at the ghost of Texans past, right? And Minnie Riperton, I got it right, I think this time, had a song that said, it had a song, and the lyrics were, I stumbled across a photograph. It kind of made me laugh. It took me way back down memory lane, right? Let me take you back down memory lane. The year was 2020, right? The year was 2020. The Houston Texans started out 0-4. And after the fourth game, the McNairs was like, this is enough. We've seen all we've seen all that we could see. We can't take no more. He got to go. They fired Bill O'Brien, right? They fired Bill O'Brien, and Romeo Crennel took over for head coaching, took over head coaching duties, for the remainder of the year, right? So after 4 games into the 2020 season, Bill O'Brien, I'll call him Bob. Bill O'Brien was fired, right? Romeo Crennel took over for the rest of the year. The Houston Texans ended that season 4-12, right? They ended that season 4-12, and that started the beginning of the end for that era, right? For that era, and then took the Houston Texans into the next couple of years of chaos and confusion, right? We all know, I don't need to rehash it for you. You all know pre-D'Amico, pre-CJ, pre-Will Anderson. You already know, right? You already know. So in 2020, when the Texans finished 4-12, Deshaun Watson threw for 4,823 yards. 4,823 yards, 33 touchdowns, and 7 interceptions. 4,823 yards, 33 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. Now, although the Texans looked terrible, Deshaun Watson, I ain't gonna even lie, that season was magical. And he ain't really was throwing to nobody. He ain't really had a receiver. I think at one time his leading receiver was probably Kiki Kuti and Kevin Walters, right? Wasn't that his name? Was it Kevin Walters then? Like he didn't have anybody outside of D-Hop was already gone. D-Hop was already gone. D-Hop had got traded, and it was just David Johnson. Let me see. Yep. And these stats look beautiful. I ain't gonna even lie. I'm just saying, he had a 70% completion rate. 70% completion rate. Good Lord. Like, let me see something. Give me a second. Who's on that roster this year? 2020. Let me get down to it. Passing. He had Brandon Cooks, Will Fuller, Randall Cobb. I told you, Jordan Akins, Kiki Kuti, Chad Hansen. What did I call him? Kevin Walters. Chad Hansen, I remember that. Pharaoh Brown. DeAndre Carter. Y'all remember that? The same year J.J. Watt apologized to Watson for wasting such a good year. I think that could have been. Deshaun Watson was on point. Will Fuller. So Kenny Steele, that Seahawks fan, please beat the Niners. So, traded Hopkins for a half-eaten bag of original Fritos and a church hug. Oh, my God. Hold on for a second. TikTok family. I'm out. Oh, okay. I appreciate that. So, if I'm Nick Caley, right? If I'm Nick Caley, what I'm doing is I'm calling on that's a last train. You must be speaking the truth. It is a train. It is a late train. If I'm Nick Caley, I'm calling on the ghost of 2020 past, of Deshaun Watson past, and I'm saying, hey, look, it's highly likely that I'm going to be a one-year offensive coordinator for the Houston Texans. Me and Nick probably going to be leaving out at the same time. So if I'm going to go out, let me go out with a bang. And what I mean by with a bang, hey, look, CJ, I know I showed you some old footage of the Patriots and Tom Brady. I need you to go to the archives room upstairs and tell them you need all of the footage from Deshaun Watson's 2020 season here. You're going to see a lot of losses. Don't worry about that. That's not what I'm doing. I just want you to take a look. See some things that you like. Pick out a couple of things that you like. Because I'm going to let you chunk that ball just as much as Deshaun Watson. I'm going to let you chunk that ball just as much as Deshaun Watson did. You know what, y'all? Hold on. Pity. I was going to say I'm going to let you slang that thing as much as Deshaun did, but I've realized that is the wrong choice of words. That's why I did not say that. That's why I said I'm going to let you chunk the ball, not slang that thing all over. Because, I mean, that's one of the reasons why Deshaun's not here now. I digress. I would tell CJ, go upstairs. Tell them that you need this footage. Go in, put in that request, tell them you need that. Then I want you to go through and I want you to study some of that. And then you pick out some of what he did, what you like, and we'll implement that. We'll implement that, and then we'll go and ball out till you fall out, player. This your offense now. Anybody y'all sing what's that one with Bruce Leroy in it? You got the glow. You got that glow. You feeling something. You got that glow. That's what I tell. That's exactly what I tell CJ. Hey, you got that glow. It's on you, my friend. You got the juice now, CJ. I would. That would be me. Hey, man. Look. We're gonna go into this game. Tell you right now, by the end of every game for the rest of the season, you shouldn't even be able to do post-game press conference. Your arm should be so. Like, you shouldn't even be able to practice throughout the week. Like, you should, but you shouldn't. Like, we're not gonna let, when it's time for pass plays, we'll just let you watch the concept, let Davis run the play, but then you watch, because we gotta save your arm, because you gonna be throwing it. How many? Let me see something. And he threw that ball. He threw the ball 544 times. Let me see something right quick. I'm telling you, Deshaun was a monster. Damn, that's another bad choice of words. Sorry. My bad. Deshaun was a beast on that field. He was you talking about somebody I love to watch play? I was like, oh yeah. Deshaun, hey, say what you want about him, cool. Whatever you got against him in his personal life, hey, that's cool too. But prime Deshaun Watson, oh my God. Prime Deshaun, you wasn't stopping him. So look, in that 2020 season, Deshaun threw the ball 544 times. I've got to tell you, in 16 games, I'm going to go down his pass attempts. 32, 36, 27, 33, 35, 37, 39, 32, 30, 37, 25, 38, 30, 41, 33, 39. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 14 games, 14 out of the 16 games, he threw for over 250 yards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 10 of those 16 games was over 300 yards. 3 games he had over 350. Deshaun was a different. His last 3 games, Deshaun threw for 373 yards in a loss to Indianapolis, 27-20, close. He threw for 324 games in a loss to Cincinnati, 37-31, and threw for 365 games. Threw for 365 yards in a game against the Tennessee Titans that they lost 41-38. Hey, don't D'Amico always talking about losing 1-score games? Don't he always, he said since he's been here, he's been involved in 25 1-score games. Those last 3 games I just read to you from Deshaun, those were 1-score games too. What do you got to lose, Nick? Hey, what do they say? Look, free CJ till it's backwards. Free CJ until it's backwards. Let that man ball out. Let him ball out. Let him do what he needs to do. Show him that you have the confidence in him. Give him the keys. You can't let CJ drive to the store one day. Let him drive to the store one day and then make him a passenger the next. If you got confidence and let him drive the car to the store by himself, then let him go everywhere he needs to go driving the car. Don't make him a passenger. CJ rode in the passenger side his rookie year. No possible way that this young man shouldn't be doing everything humanly possible on the football field, on the offensive side of the ball, to win you all games. Stop hampering him. Stop hindering him. Let him go. Let him go. And what I mean by let him go is tell CJ, hey, I need that Ohio State CJ back. I need you. Listen, we know that we may not have one of the better offensive lines in the NFL. What is it going to do? What do I need to do to make it more easy and more accessible for you to be comfortable? And then that's what I would do. All right, hold on. Show end. All right, we've been here 2 hours. Just hopped on so CJ doesn't have all the keys to the offense. Dang, Sarah, I'm sorry you just hopped on and I'm just about to hop off. I've been here 2 hours. I know you better not be where I thought you was. That's so petty. That's so petty. That is petty. I said, what's wrong? Talking about that blitz. Yep. Let me go back up in here. When I heard The town hall in Caserio say the O-line shouldn't concern us for the second year in a row. Then I watch the offense without urgency. That kind of nonchalant attitude, bad patterns here. Yep. Exactly. All right, then, mind your biz, huh? Free CJ till it's backwards. I don't know why I did this. Don't ask me why I put my hand in the air. I don't know. It just automatically happened. I'm sorry. I'm going to put my hand down now. I'm sorry. Kobe has too much control? Where? Elaborate on that. Let me see. Yep. They gave him 5 warm bodies, so it's not an actual offensive line. Yep. The right way seems to lack flexibility, which leaves room for overcorrection by the players that equates to amateur play. Yep. DQ says the defense is Super Bowl caliber, but the offense is not meeting expectation. Exactly. Mike says, I heard Titus told a media member that the offense was too complacent. You started 0-3, worst offense in the league. What gives you any right to be complacent? He wasn't talking about. So what he said was we came out too complacent and we didn't play fast enough. And he said we don't have any room to be complacent. We don't have any room to play the way that we played. We don't have that type of team. We can't be coming out complacent, especially coming off a bye week. We have to do more. So that's what he was saying. Sheesh. Huh. This is interesting. That's very interesting. Nick Caserio has been in 5 years, I believe, still has no hits on the offensive line. Very questionable medical evaluation on many players. I'm done with him. I see you, Boble. Say the offense identity is trying. That's hilarious. In your personal opinion, Sarge, can we fix this? And I didn't see this till now. I think that yes. Yes, I believe that it can be fixed. But you can't. Let CJ be CJ. Go down fighting. Go down fighting. Don't go down being stubborn. The one thing that was a major downfall for Bill O'Brien was he wanted to continue to try to stick a square peg into a round hole. Now, although it's impossible to do in the beginning, but if you keep putting that square peg into that round hole, there's a possibility that you could shave the sides and get the square peg to become round. But do you know how long that's going to take? So semantically speaking, yes, you can put a square peg in a round hole. It's going to take forever. And that's what Bill O'Brien kept trying to do. And that's why some of the same things that I'm hearing now reminds me a lot of Bill O'Brien. And I'm saying that ain't the way. That is not the way. At least not in my opinion. Let me go down here and see what's being said down here. Do you think CJ wants to leave? I don't know why I always see that on my timeline. I don't. And who telling you that, Sarah? CJ don't want to leave. CJ wants to be successful right here in the city of Houston. Nothing would make CJ more happier than to bring the Houston Texans Super Bowl. I was on the Detroit News podcast with Cody Davis, and we were talking about the Thompson twins, our men that plays here for the Houston Rockets, and Asar that plays for the Detroit Pistons. So Cody asked me, what does success look like? In your opinion, what does success look like for Amen Thompson? I said success for Amen Thompson, in my opinion, is not only winning one NBA Finals, but winning multiple NBA championships in the city of Houston. He could care less about those personal accolades. He could care less about any of that personal stuff, those personal honors that he's going to receive, all of, how he's this, how he's that. All of that means nothing to him. He wants to win a championship, and he wants to win multiple championships because he wants his name to go down as one of the greats, but he knows that he can't do that without winning championships in his mind. And he wants to be able to say, I helped, not I brought, I helped bring championships to Houston. That's CJ Stroud's same mindset. CJ could care less about the personal accolades. He could care less about the personal praise. He could care less about all that other stuff. What he's focused on and what he wants to do is to bring a Super Bowl championship to the city of Houston. And in his mind, as of right now, as of today, as we speak, on October, what's the date? 22nd? October 22nd, as we speak, Wednesday, October 22nd. He wants to do nothing more than to help this franchise win a Super Bowl. And he be a key part in doing that. See, I don't think that a lot of people realizes this. And I've been here since 2017. And for as much as I talked about Deshaun Watson, and we all know that Deshaun Watson's a winner. We know that Deshaun Watson was a hell of a college player. In his early years here in Houston, he was very well. But I never seen. It's crazy, okay? It's crazy. Because, let me put this down. Let's see. So, it's crazy. Because I never felt like this was Watson's team, if you know what I mean by that. I always felt like it was J.J. Watt's team. I always felt like it was J.J. Watt. I always felt like that the Houston Texans was his team. Like I just always felt like this is his team. Like Deshaun is here. Deshaun is a franchise quarterback, but it always felt like JJ's team. Like no matter what, no matter how great Deshaun played, it just felt like it was JJ's team that Deshaun was playing on. This Houston Texans team feels like it's CJ's and Will's. It seems like it's their team. Both of them have the same mindset. Both of them have the same fervor. Both of them want to win a Super Bowl here in Houston. They take a lot of pride in this being their team. Like they talk about, and both of them, and they sit on opposite sides of the locker room, but they pretty much say the same thing on how I want this team to be good because this is the team that drafted me. This is the team that gave me my opportunity. This is the team that gave me my shot and my chance. And I want to help bring a Super Bowl championship here. Will says the same thing. And so as of today, Wednesday, October 22nd, all I can tell you is that leaving this team is the furthest thing from CJ Stroud's mind. What's good, Devitt? It's the furthest thing from CJ Stroud's mind. He ain't got no contract negotiations on his mind. He's thinking about 1, playing the 49ers, 2, how can I get better? What do I need to do? And I'm telling you something that I know, not something that I heard. That young man is focused on bringing this city their first championship. And he's trying like hell to do everything that's within him to do that. So great game last night against the Thunder. Thought we did get, even though Thunder though we didn't get the win, but we need to pick up some offensive ingredients for the team. They need to protect CJ more. Yep, hey, it was a great game last night in OKC. I like what the Rockets. I later on down the line, and I got to put this clip out. I just thought about that. I know that Ime keeps talking about point guard by committee, but at some point you're gonna have to have a point guard. Okay, let me say that for the people in the back who didn't understand that. Ime talked about last night about point guard by committee, but at some point you're gonna have to have a point guard. Okay, let me say that one more time for the people that didn't get it. Right now, the Houston Rockets without Fred VanVleet is playing point guard by committee. That means that sometimes Amen is starting, and then when he's out, you might have Reed in there. Josh Okogie might come in and play. You got Tari bringing the ball up. You got Kevin Durant bringing the ball up. You got Alpi bringing the ball up. You got Jabari bringing the ball up. Different people are taking different turns, and that's cool to get the ball past half court, but you got to have a point guard that can get you into your plays when our men's not in the game. You're missing that veteran leadership that Fred VanVleet brings to that team and the ability to be able to get everybody where they need to get, run the type of sets that they need to run. Because some of the set, and it was just one game, and I understand they haven't played together a lot, but some of that stuff looked too convoluted and they didn't have enough continuity. It's convoluted, but not enough continuity. All is good. I had to switch earlier from X to YouTube. All right. What do you disagree about, Senior Boble? What do you disagree with? I think Reed Shepard is good. He just needs more. Yeah, he does. Yeah. And I just had to explain this to somebody today. Reed Shepard played. He played one game into his second year. He was a rookie last year, and now getting some run, going up against the champions last night. I mean, hell, look at the people he was trying to guard. They should. Like, there's people who can't hold SGA that's been in the league way longer than Reed. There's some people that can't hold, what's his name, Cason Wallace, that's been in this league a long time. For them to put the moves they put on Reed, yeah. But he's going to get there. And that's why I keep trying to tell people, just give him time. He's going to get there. He's not. How can you say that? He barely got any run last year. He's going to get run this year. How can you say he's a bust already? He ain't been in the league for 1 year and a game. Yeah, and his mama called him out too. He know he played bad. Tari know he played bad. He knew he played bad when he was in the locker room. I looked at him. He looked at me. He knew. I wasn't going to go over there and bother him, though, because he already knew. Why do the Texans have the same problems for over a year now? This has to be a coaching thing or a general manager thing. Like it's a general manager, like it's we'll talk. We'll talk either Thursday or Friday. Oh, that'd be Thursday because Friday I got a game. Exactly. It would be nice to have a point guard. I think the G League MVP needs to play ahead of Reed. Hey, he can hoop. Davison, he can ball. And I see what you're saying, but I think for me, I'd probably would want Aaron Holiday in there first before I jump to that. I think I'd want Aaron Holiday in there first. His game is not fluid. He's a defensive liability. He was going against that team won the NBA Finals last year. They got their rings last night. Reed was in the back while they was getting their rings. Like Reed wasn't holding SGA the whole time when he went off. And he's only played one game into his second year. He was a rookie last year. They didn't get a lot of run. He got some buddies. He get more PT. He'll learn to stay in front of them. I say the same thing. Houston sports fans ain't got the strength to give folks time, Sarge. You're right. You're right. Thanks, Scoop. Bell out of Trey, baby. What's going on, man? Right. Continuity and the indecisiveness of KD to be aggressive. And we're going to come back and talk about that. I think between our man, Shingo and KD, they don't need a point guard. But so those three players, I'm in. Yes, I'm in because he's played point guard, his entire career except the, 2 years he was here. Shingun and KD, you can run the offense through them, but you can't set the offense through them, if you know what I mean. Fred was able to set the offense. Fred was able to calm everything down in the midst of chaos, because he's played point guard and he has that point guard mentality. We fumbled the bag if they did offer him 100 M's. Can't create no running offense. Reed ain't even play as bad as people making it seem. He has a ball control. He just really 5 games run with the start. And KD's like, I want him to be aggressive. I want him to shoot. I thought he was still, Derek White still not, ain't he making like $28 million a year somewhere? That's a good question. And if I was going over to Toya, if I was going to the practice facility on Thursday, I would ask that, but I got to be at NRG. I don't know what that means. Titus, yes. I think Ed still has to prove it just a little bit more. Like Ed's going to have to prove it a little bit more. You ain't lying, Senor Bole. You are not lying. Holiday is. That's exactly what he's going to do. He does. Well, our man gives him trouble. But you are right. That's why I understand. First thing, his first answer was, missed the free throw and I filed SGA. That loss is on me. That's exactly what he said. He was too. He was. Can we go back to you swinging the belt in Baltimore? Hey, man. Hey, look, the Texans got to win. If the Texans beat the 49ers, I'll bring BTA back out. Vibes were high. Yep. Let's see. KD needs to be our closer at the end of games and have the offense run through Alvin, but I think that's how they want to do it. Yeah, and it's just one game. We'll see the adjustments that needs to be made over time. Hold on, Tay 713. Hold on 1 second. Let me do something.
As you had some success on the
Trying to see something. Give me a second.
with these guys.
Man's on the outside line. That's when you. How were you all able to sell different that we hold ourselves to the defense and then just had to get back to doing what we do. Just got to buy in with them. Appreciate it.
Hold on, y'all. I'm trying to find something. Here we go. Okay, I got to do it this way. Can y'all hear this? Let me know if y'all can hear this. Can y'all hear that? Y'all let me know. Let me know if y'all can hear that. Can y'all hear this?
Overall balance, what are some of your takeaways from this game?
Okay, so I left this question up right here from Tay713 because I should have put this clip out, but like I said, y'all, I have been traveling so much, and I think that's why I'm starting to wear down right now. To be honest with you, I'm starting to get tired. But you said, was Stingley hurt Monday? No. Stingley's fully healthy. Why did they have him trailing JSN? He was asked that question in the post-game press conference.
Why you guys lost?
Hold on.
How hard can it be sometimes having a guard or a receiver like this and wide to kind of be off looking 7 yards? What's some of the challenges with him? That's how you
I mean, you know, that's. I'm not saying it's hard, but you know, other teams scout just like we do. They know what we're good at and what we're, got to work on. So, I mean, just know that going to the game, knows you got to be better at going into it. So.
Tay713. I see you say it's me, Tay, so you ain't got to add the 713. I know. I knew it was you from the jump. Well, how many people got Tay? So y'all heard that, right? Tay asked, why did they have him trailing JSN? So once again, listen to the question. And the question is by DJ Bieneme from ESPN.
How hard can it be sometimes having a guard or a receiver like this and wide to kind of be off looking 7 yards? What's some of the challenges with him? That's how you
I mean, you know, that's. I'm not saying it's hard, but you know, other teams scout just like we do. They know what we're good at and what we're, got to work on. So, I mean, just know that going to the game, knows you got to be better at going into.
Uh-oh, my bad. Hold on. Because DJ was not letting it go. DJ was not letting it go. DJ. So here is DJ Bieneme asking Coach D'Amico Ryans the same. Hold on. Asking him the same question. Y'all give me a second. Give me a second. Boom, 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 boom. Trying to see if I have it. Yes. Y'all give me a second.
Fox, can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you. Hi, Coach.
Hey.
Give me a second. So here's DJ asking that same question that he asked Derek to Coach.
The decision to not have Stingley press is often against JSN. Giving JSN free releases is a good receiver that good. That's kind of almost that sense taking candy from a baby. So what kind of went into not having Stingley press JSN more often to disrupt the timing within his routes?
Yeah, our game plan was to, as I stated earlier in the week, to make sure we're aggressive, make sure we're getting hands on and playing them tight and sticky. That was our game plan.
So DJ circles around and asks him again.
Jonathan, Sarge, and Kim. Go ahead, DJ.
When you guys have played, I guess some of the better receivers in the league, like JSN, Puka Nacua, even Devontae Adams, et cetera, it seems like those teams make a concerted effort to find various ways, creative ways to get their start.
So wait, hold on. My bad, y'all. That's something about Nico. I thought he had circled back around to ask him again. Oh, that was in the press conference. Thank you. Okay. Now that was in the press conference he asked him. So that wasn't that. Let me remove that. So let me just ask this question, and then I'm going to get up off here for real. And I'm leaving this up here for a reason. Derek Stingley Jr. was the first team All-Pro in 2024. First team All-Pro cornerback. All-Pro. First team. So if the plan and the defensive scheme was for him to play close coverage on JSN, Jackson Smith and Jigba, wide receiver for the Seattle Seahawks, leading wide receiver in the NFL as far as receiving yards is concerned. So if the plan was to be tight and sticky to JSN when he was on the field, you don't think Derek Stingley Jr. would have stuck to that plan? You think Derek Stingley purposely was 7 yards off of him? Do you think that Derek Stingley Jr. made the not conscious effort, that's wrong. You think Derek Stingley Jr. put into his mind and said, but I know the game plan is for me to play him tight and play him up close, but I think that I want to play 7 yards off. You think that was him? Derek Stingley. One of the best cover corners in the league. One of the best man coverage cornerbacks in the league. You think that Derek went in and said, nah, JSN is too good. Let me back up 7 yards. If the plan was to be tight and sticky, and Derek Stingley would have been tight on JSN, pressing him and playing him that way. I don't believe. You all maybe can believe it. And I promise you that this question will be asked probably by DJ, because DJ's not letting it go. He's not letting it go. And for those of you all who follow DJ, who read his work, heard him talk, seen him on various shows, I call him a football savant. And if DJ is looking at this and saying, hey man, something ain't right. Something ain't right. Why is he playing so far off? Why are they playing him off, giving him free range of motion, coming off the line to be able to do whatever it is he wants to do? Why would he do that? Why would Derek say, you know what? No, I'm on a playoff. Hold on, let me see something. See something. There is something that I need to see. Huh? Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Okay, give me a second, y'all. Now y'all done got me looking at this stuff, and I was ready to go to bed. Exactly what I thought. See something? Here we go. Okay, y'all, give me one more. I'm looking up something now. I'm trying to, because it normally says, here we go. Receiving. Okay, well, I'm coming, y'all. Y'all done got me looking up stuff now. Where is this thing at? Now I'm trying to find something, y'all. And this may not be it. This may be it. I'm just gonna have to do it this way. Let me see something. Y'all got me doing this. Let me see if this is the play I'm looking for. And if not, we'll have to come back. We'll have to come back and take a look at it. Okay, I hope y'all still there. I started acting like I was by myself. Hold on for a second. Hold on. Thanks, Queen. All right, Derek. Don't blame us. Let me do this. Then I'm going. I gotta go to bed. Tay, I hope you're still there. I hope this answers your question. This is first quarter. 2 seconds left in the quarter. Remember now, the plan was to be tight and sticky, right? As they said the plan was to be tight and sticky. This is a touchdown play. And I just pulled this one up, but there's others that I can show you. Look at this. So you think that he's making this, that Derek Stingley Jr. is making this conscious effort. Hold on, I guess I just did it. You think Derek is making this conscious effort to be this far off on JSN? Because I mean, this looks like the same call to me. Look at Kamari. Look at Kamari. Look at Derek. They're in the same spot. You cannot give this wide receiver, this one, JSN, the NFL leading receiving yards. You can't give him this much room to operate. Because if they're look, this man zone, you know what? Let me do this. So I'm gonna show y'all how the magic really happens. Let's see what they're in. Man, single high safety cover one, right? And I just wanted to make sure that you all could see that as well. So they're in cover one, man, single high. And this is where you have Derek. Because Petrie is on this guy right here. Right? Petrie's on this guy, and I don't know, that's not AJ Speed. Oh, that's MJ Stewart here, manned up here, manned up here, manned up here, manned up here. 5 wides. Look at how much room. And you think that Derek Stingley, knowing who he's going up against, knowing that he's going up against JSN, would give JSN this much room in the red zone. This much room in the red zone. This not tight and sticky. You can see that it's clearly the call because they are in the same spot. That is a lot of room to operate. Derek is a he's a great cornerback. You're putting too much pressure on him because you're giving him too much room here. That is a lot of room. See, Caitlin. And with all the time in the world, but somebody almost got there though. That Tommy Two Guns. That Tommy almost got there. He almost made that. So could fit the team, but the identity of the offense is a mess. Cannot block, cannot run. So you see what I'm saying, Tay? But don't worry. Make sure you come back on Thursday. I got some more for you, especially on that. Hey, that boy was destroyed. You see, he almost got there. They almost got there. Can I show y'all one more play? Let me show y'all one more play. Let me see. Play. Touchdown. Hey, y'all cool if I show y'all one more play? Show y'all one more. Because there's a narrative going around. And I don't like it. So I want y'all to watch something. This is the play that Aziz got the roughing. This unnecessary roughness call against Sam Darnold. Good defense. Sheldon tried to get him too. So what was Aziz supposed to do? They both dropped to make contact. Now, this is what I want you to see. See it right here? Look at this guy. Watch now. Look at when he blows the whistle. He's watching. See, this is the thing, and like Aziz said this out. He said this after the game. He said, "I'm running with the receiver. The receiver releases. Sam Darnold becomes a free runner." He said, "I hit him. I don't know where I'm at on the field." He said, "I don't know where I'm at." Now, right here, the whistle should have been blown. Why does, like right here, whistle should have been blown. When does he blow the whistle? When Aziz has already taken him to the ground. And he threw the flag. So now the ref is watching the game. He's not reffing the game. He's watching the game. Did not blow the whistle till late. Hold on. Let me show y'all something else. Whistle was never blown. Forward progress. Hold on. You know what? That's enough for tonight. sometimes the answers is in the details that you may not see until you go back and you see. Y'all know I don't do all 22. I ain't finna come on here and break down every play. I'm just gonna show you a couple of plays, and some things that happened, and some things that didn't happen. Because I need you all to see it as well. Some people don't have access to what I have access to. Some people do. Some people use it to share, to actually have a genuine conversation. Some people use it to push their narrative and their agenda. Just depends. Yep. So, it surely did. They surely did. That's what the players was talking about. If I had time, Sarah, I would show you how on the play when Tim Settle got penalized for jumping into the pile, excuse me. They said he was jumping into the pile. There's a lot happening on that play. The one thing that didn't happen, they did not blow the whistle. And so Tim kept going because they didn't blow the whistle. And just what they did on that touchdown play is exactly what they were doing on that play. They were even having linemen coming around to get behind him to push. And so Tim just jumped into the pile so he could try to stop because the whistle hadn't blown. But we definitely gonna have to. We definitely gonna have to get into that on another time because Big Sarge got to go to sleep because he got to get up and give y'all the best in the morning. He saw the best in me. Been tuning to the Texans Happy Hour, sponsored by the Hall Family Estates. They say you can't buy wine. I mean, you can't buy happiness, but you can buy wine. That's the closest thing to it. Make sure you follow me on the app formerly known as Twitter. Big Sarge Sports, the Z at the end. Follow me on the tick and the talk at Big Sarge Media. Make sure you subscribe to the Texas Tailgate Talk podcast and YouTube channel. All one word, Texans Tailgate Talk. And follow me on Instagram, Big Sarge Sports, the Z at the end. Because, you know, we do everything for the gram. Hold on. I missed y'all. I'm back. Big Sarge. I'm out.
Big Sarge.